Hello and welcome to episode 2 of this season of Pop Not Soda. I'm your host, Jonathan Wright, and today's theme is Disney. So our content today includes the top 5 Studio Ghibli films, and yes, those do count as Disney films, a spoof on Sorcerer's Apprentice, the Ultimate Fan Theorist Guide as per usual, but coming up now is the Ultimate Fangirls Guide, so stick around for Pop Not Soda.
This is the awesome Ultimate Fangirls Guide for people who've been living under a rock and don't know anything about Disney princesses. Snow White is about a girl who lives with 7 men.
Someday my prince will come. Someday we'll meet.
Then there's Cinderella, which is a girl that basically gets whatever she wants.
Salagadoola, metricaboola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Put them together and what have you got? Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Salagadoola.
Aurora from Sleeping Beauty gets chased around by this creepy guy.
A stranger?
Mm-hmm.
But don't you remember? We've met before.
We have?
Well, of course. You said so yourself. Once upon a dream.
Next up, we have Ariel, the most selfish princess from The Little
I get
Mermaid.
20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more.
Then there's Belle, who is really into animals.
She glanced this way,
You can't forget Jasmine, who just jumps on a magic carpet ride with a guy she doesn't even know.
or say we're only dreaming.
A whole new world. A dazzling place I never knew.
Pocahontas is the first princess to get into a racially diverse relationship.
All the colors of the wind.
Then there's the badass princess Mulan, who even pretends to be a man.
War, so pack up, go home, you're through. How could I make a man out of you?
Next up is Princess Tiana, who gets turned into a frog.
But I know exactly where I'm going. I'm getting closer and closer every day, and I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
Also, there's Princess Rapunzel, who has a bad case of Stockholm Syndrome.
And I'll keep wondering, 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 when will my life begin?
Lastly, we have Merida, who is a cartoon version of Katniss Everdeen.
I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky. I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky.
Thank you for watching a Fangirl's Ultimate Guide to the World of Disney Princesses.
Disney has captured the hearts of American children for decades now. Every child and adult could easily tell you their favorite Disney flick and why they hold it so dear to their heart. Personally, the best Disney movies are the ones that were produced with the help of the Japanese film company Studio Ghibli. Disney has worked alongside the studio for many marvelous films. The movies that they have produced together are some of the best works for either of the film studios. With a very personal touch, here are the top 5 Studio Ghibli movies produced by Disney. This list is spoiler-free, so please feel free to watch one or all of them after this episode of Pop Not Soda. Up first, we have a recent Studio Ghibli Disney collaboration in Ponyo. Released in Japan of July 2009 and then later released of August 2009 in the US, the film ponders to a younger audience but can still be a delight for all ages. The story is basic. A young girl, Fish, discovers the surface world and yearns to see as much as she can. She finds a friend, Sasuke, and the two go through the small fishing town to satisfy Ponyo's uncontrollable curiosity. The reason this movie is ranked number 5 on my list, it's because of a lack of a story. I mean, it's a great lighthearted film, but it just doesn't have much story depth. Don't get me wrong, I highly recommend this movie, but your cinema appetite might not be fully satisfied. Coming in at number 4 is the mysterious yet majestic My Neighbor Totoro. Released in Japan in 1998 and then later released in the US in 1993, the story follows a family who recently moved to the countryside, 2 young girls and their father. The move was motivated to be closer to the hospital where their mother was staying. The movies actually featured one of the best characters in all Studio Ghibli history, Totoro, who happens to be the logo of the whole studio. The protagonists are exploring the new environment, which is how they stumble upon the big furry aloof Totoro. There are some touching moments in this movie that I can't help but cry to. The film should be watched with a close childhood friend. Here at lucky number 3 is Howl's Moving Castle. Released in Japan November of 2004 and later released in the US in June 2005. The story is about a young girl named Sophie who works in her mother's dress shop until a curse is placed on it and she's turned much, much older. Her only hope to reverse the curse is to roam the countryside looking for a cure. While looking, she meets a young, handsome wizard named Howl. The movie is much more complex and beautiful than I am describing, but as I said before, there will be no spoilers in this countdown. Hayao Miyazaki, the world-famous director behind most of the Studio Ghibli movies, has said before this was his favorite film to work on because he conveyed a message that said life is worth living. The film indeed embedded that message in me after watching. Highly recommend, 10 out of 10. And coming in a close second, we have the fan-loved Spirited Away. Released in Japan July of 2001, which became the most successful in Japanese history, later released in September 2002 in the US. Another Studio Ghibli movie based about a young girl, but throughout this film you can see the main character, Shiro, grow tremendously. In the first 10 minutes of the film, the main plot is spelled out, and the character, Shiro, is put in a very unfamiliar environment, which a nearly impossible task. The movie is a feast for the eyes, along with a heartwarming story. This is number 1 on a lot of fans' lists, but sadly, not mine. And now what everyone has been waiting for. Drumroll, please. Number 1 is Kiki's Delivery Service. Released in Japan of July of 1989, and then in the US of May of 1998, the story follows a young witch named Kiki, who has just turned 13, which means she has to leave home and find her own way in the world. This is the first Studio Ghibli I've ever seen, which makes it quite obviously why it's my favorite. But that's not the only reason why. After starting college, I admire this movie even more. Finding your place in the world is not an easy task, let alone if you're a 13-year-old witch. This film is a must-watch. If you ever feel lost in the world and need some reassurance that hope is on the horizon, then I highly recommend it to you.
Hello and welcome to the Pop Not Soda Disney Dating Game. I'm your host, Jonathan Wright, and today our Disney princesses will be asked a few questions, and our eligible bachelor, Kyler Disney, yes, that's actually his name, will choose among these 3 who is the fairest of them all. So, Kyler, Mr. Disney, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you looking for in a gal, in a Disney princess?
I'm just looking for my princess to go on an adventure with.
Oh, it's very admirable. It's very, that's actually a good quality to find. All right, so you have a set of questions with you, right?
Yeah.
All right, he's going to ask the bachelors their questions, and we'll see which one he chooses. All right, you can begin.
All right, starting with princess number 1, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from a lovely palace located in the kingdom of Atlantica. It's under the sea.
All right. Princess 2?
I'm from France, but I spent most of my time in the forest in a little cottage.
All right. And Princess 3?
I also live in a cottage, but I live in Germany.
So
All right.
you have ladies
Very nice.
from all over the world here.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
All right, starting with Princess number 2. Describe your perfect date. Princess 2?
It appears she is down for the count. She is fast asleep, folks.
All right, Princess 3. Describe your perfect date.
Anywhere would be perfect. Just please don't bring your 7 other friends. Bad experiences.
Very busy, I suppose.
And Princess number 1.
Oh, my perfect date would be a hike in the mountains because I've yet to visit the mountains. I spend a lot of time near the beach and on the beach and in the water, so I'd like to see what a mountain is like.
She's looking for variety. Lady looking for variety.
All right, now Princess number 1. Are you a morning or night person?
Oh, well, we can't really differentiate between day and night under the sea because it's at the bottom of the ocean and it's always dark.
How about Princess number 2? Are you a morning or night person?
It appears to be any time for her because she definitely likes to sleep here.
Ooh. Okay. How about Princess number 3?
Well, I would have to say I'm a morning person, mostly because there's a lot of scary things at night, and I just don't like the night.
All right. Well, it seems like you've asked your questions. Have you? I assume you've molded over here. So, which of the 3 lovely ladies would you like to choose to have a happily ever after with?
I would love to go on an adventure with Princess number 1.
And there you have it, folks. Princess number 1 is revealed to be Ariel. So, I hope you get to have a happily ever after, and you have a wonderful life together. And that's it for the Pop Not Soda Disney dating game. Stay tuned for more.
Greetings to all who are watching, and welcome to another spectacular episode of The Ultimate Fan Theorist. This is your captain speaking, aka The Ultimate Fan Theorist. And on this episode of The Ultimate Fan Theorist, I will be taking a trip down memory lane as I'll be discussing 3 bizarre fan theories of the animated Disney film universe. Fan theory number 1. Aladdin takes place in the post-apocalyptic future. Robin Williams' Genie character in Aladdin was one high point of our childhoods, even though we didn't get half of the pop culture references he made throughout the film. But if the movie took place sometime during the 3rd century, how could Genie know about Jack Nicholson or Rodney Dangerfield, along with the other Hollywood icons, in order to do impressions of them? Many fan theorists believe that the reason Genie could reference things like that is because the movie actually takes place some 10,000 years into the future. Genie was imprisoned in the lamp sometime close to present day, and theorists believe that Aladdin's magic rug is actually a sophisticated piece of nanotechnology, and that a nuclear apocalypse turned the world into a deserted wasteland. While this fan theory may seem outlandish, it does make perfect sense. I mean, how else would Genie have known about the existence of Jack Nicholson or Rodney Dangerfield if they weren't even alive during the 3rd century? I mean, it definitely makes you wonder. Fan theory number 2. Jane is the granddaughter of Belle and the Beast. Whoever was the mastermind that came up with this fan theory has definitely hit the nail on the head. A Disney fan can ultimately point out the similarities between the two. They are both involved in romantic relationships with wild men, and are both obsessed with the color yellow. In Tarzan, Turk is seen drumming on a tea set that looks like Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast, along with the little teacup Chip. And you know, after watching that scene, it truly makes you wonder, was that an heirloom that was passed down from Belle? I mean, the world may never know. And finally, fan theory number 3. Every Pixar movie takes place in the same universe. This is a fan theory that has been in existence for many years, and is ultimately one of the most plausible fan theories out there. The first Pixar movie released was Toy Story in 1995, but the first Pixar movie in terms of historical periods is Brave from 2012, which takes place in medieval Scotland. Merida finds magic that turns her mom into a bear. Moving ahead, it's somewhat believable that this magic was carried forward, which accounts for all of Pixar's weird and wonderful creations. Well guys, that concludes this episode of The Ultimate Fan Theorist. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go take down this goon or this loser rather, who thinks he's going to take me in my showdown. Now here's a little warning sign for you. If you think you're going to take me in my showdown, you're dead wrong. Because you know what I'm going to do? Come to your house and I'm going to wreck you like Wreck-It Ralph. Boom. Yeah, you don't want any of this.
Well, that's all we have for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more Pop Not Soda, you can go to msutv.net or check out MSUTV's YouTube. Next episode's going to be themed spy, so check it out. Well, in the meantime, I'm your host, Jonathan Wright, and this has been Pop Not Soda.